What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC Vegas 3 Curtis Blades versus Alexander Volkov. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Draftkings MMA picks video. This time we are at Vegas once more, but this time we have 12 fights rather than 10 last week. Last week was okay, I guess. Didn't lose any money, actually had a nice profit, but ended up getting my second takedown in a row, which has never happened before. But the problem was I had a tie in first place with about 70 people in the $1 150 max, the bigger contest, and then a tie with about 17 people in the smaller $1 150 max. So 2 takedowns, 2 different contests, but so many ties, so chalky. So this time we have 12 fights. I do not think there's going to be many ties for that first place lineup, especially with all the underdogs. We'll get into that and many more. But first, if you guys can like this video, also subscribe if you haven't yet. Really appreciate that. If you guys watch my videos and you do enjoy my content, please subscribe. Trying to get 3,000 subscribers really soon, about 300 and something away. So any subscribe helps, and thank you guys for that. Also, a great time to still sign up on Patreon. I'm at 94 patrons. If we can get 100 by the end of the month, that'd be absolutely amazing. Thank you guys for all your support. If you're on Patreon and you do support me on there, thank you guys a lot. It means a lot to me. But with that said, let's get into the card. Starting with the fight does not go to decision lines. Honestly, I think there are going to be a lot of finishes. There's more than 4 that are favored to end inside the distance. And that's more than we could have said from last week. Last week there was like 2 that were favored to end inside the distance, and there was more than that. There was 3 in a row last week. But Blades Volkov minus 325. Fight does not go to decision. This fight's honestly, it's going to end inside the distance probably in the first couple rounds. Don't think Blades has ever been to decision. I know he's never won by decision. Yeah, he's never been to decision, Curtis Blades. And I don't see that changing here against Volkov. I'll get into it in a little bit, but I do like Blades quite a bit. Blades is very, very expensive, but I think that's fine on a week like this where there's so many underdogs. Burgos Emmett minus 190. Fight does not go to decision. We know how hard Emmett hits, and we know Burgos is going to bring so much volume and pressure. I think someone's going to fall, especially in that smaller cage. So it's definitely a fight I'm going to be near 100% on, and especially since it is going to be the co-main event, it is going to be a chalky fight, so I'm going to want to be over the weight on the field for that fight. Because, everybody likes playing the main event, everybody likes playing the co-main event, and it is a fight I do want to target. Hubbard versus Roscoff, minus 170. Fight does not go to decision. This one's tough. I don't necessarily see this finishing inside the distance, but it very well could. I'll get to it in a little bit, but I do like Roscoff quite a bit. But on the flip side of things, I do think there's merit to playing Hubbard because I do think he can get a late finish or a decision win even. Miller Roberts minus 165. Fight does not go to decision. Yeah, I do think this is going to end. I think like 6 of Miller's last 7 fights, something like that, have all ended inside the first round, something crazy like that. But he has been finishing a lot of fights or getting finished in a lot of fights, Miller. So I think it's going to be tough to submit Miller, but I do think Roberts can even knock out Miller. Roberts does hit very hard. We saw it last fight. But on the flip side of things, I think Miller can get a finish here as well. Miller is the more tested guy. We'll get into it in a little bit more, but I do like to target this fight. Getting into the core plays here, number 1 play, and it's not even close this week. It is Curtis Blades, 9,400. Like I said, you're able to go down and get a lot of underdogs this week. I think there's lots of live dogs. You could honestly make a case for every single underdog on this card. Even Volkov, you can make a case for Volkov. But for that reason, I do like Curtis Blades at 9,400. I'm going to be extremely overweight to him. I like his wrestling, great takedowns, going to get a lot of takedowns. If Volkov gets back up, he's going right back down. As long as he doesn't get knocked out, we've seen him finished twice before, but that was by Francis Ngannou, and Volkov does not hit as hard as Francis Ngannou. It is heavyweight, but I do think Blades is very tough. I do think he can take a shot. Besides, of course, Ngannou, he's a different breed, but Blades, I like Blades quite a bit. I think he's safe. I like him at GBP cash, everything. 9,400 is, hopefully it scares people away. I don't think it will. I think that'd be kind of dumb, but I think it will scare a little bit of people away, that price. And maybe the ownership. The ownership might scare people away. I do think he's going to be very high owned, as he should be. He's a smash play. He's the biggest favorite on the card by quite a bit. Max Roscoff, 8,400. This play is very weird. He's probably, what is he, like the fourth or fifth biggest favorite on the card, and he's 8,400. So that's very interesting right there. He is going to draw a lot of ownership. He's got to be a core play for me. He's going to come, he's very, very good wrestling, very good BJJ. He's going to try to end the fight early in that first or second round. He's only been to the second round once, and the fight was over shortly after that, so we don't know too much about this guy, and these plays, the UFC newcomers, always worry me a lot, especially when they're going to be chalk like this. Going against a guy, Austin Hubbard, who, he's tough. Davi Hamash was not able to submit Hubbard, so I don't really see Roscoff being able to submit Hubbard, but he definitely could. He has very, very good chokes, very good BJJ. So I do like it for the takedown upside. And the only thing that worries me is he is coming in here on short notice. And I'll get to it in a little bit. I got to it on my prediction video, but I saw a tweet on Twitter. I have it screenshotted. I believe it was deleted. I can't find it anymore, but I have it screenshotted. Roscoff tweeted something like he's been injured the past 2 weeks, so he was not able to train, but he wanted to accept the fight anyway. So that's very concerning right there. The tweet was deleted. I can't find it anymore, but I do have the screenshot. If you guys want to see it, hit me up. I'll send you that tweet, but that is something to look at there. But overall, watching tape on him, I like him a lot. I like his style. His style is Draftkings friendly, and that's what we look for on the tape. And if he wins, he's going to get a lot of takedowns. He's very aggressive on the ground, advances, and he's going to go for that submission. I think he's a little bit too aggressive going for submissions. I've seen him end up on his back going for a choke before, and I don't know if that's a good idea to do that against Hubbard, but he's very good at getting up. He was on his back for like 2 seconds, got up right away, so not too worried about it. I think Roscoff's a very, very good play. Just beware. He's going to be chalk, and we know about these UFC newcomers, so I'd play both sides, but definitely leaning Roscoff. Josh Emmett, 7,500. I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me here, but it's hard not to play a lot of Josh Emmett here at 7,500. He hits like a truck. I think he's got a knockdown in like his last 4 or 5, maybe 6 fights. He hits so hard for a featherweight, so hard. And Burgos gets hit a lot. He gets hit a lot. I go over it on my prediction video, but he absorbs like, I think like 4 something strikes per minute, which is a lot. And he gets hit. He gets hit just about every fight. And if he gets hit by Emmett, a clean strike by Emmett, I think he's going to go down. So I am picking Emmett to win by knockout, and that's why he's one of my core plays. But on the flip side of things, I do like Burgos a lot. He's going to bring a lot of volume. And if Emmett does not knock him out, then I do think Burgos is going to put up a nice score. So I like both sides. I'm going to be close to, honestly, 100% on this fight. Love Emmett at 7,500. Just so much value there. And the line is closing in, actually. Emmett is almost a pick 'em. So 7,500, I think, is going to be very popular. And I just play it out in my head every single time I see Emmett at some point catching Burgos. We've seen Burgos hurt before. Burgos has a good chin, but I just think Emmett, he hasn't felt the power of someone like Emmett, and he's going to on Saturday, and I just see Emmett getting him out of there. But yeah, I like Emmett quite a bit. Jillian Robertson, another play that most people probably won't agree with me. I see a lot of love up for Casey, but 8,300, I like it quite a bit. Casey gets taken down so many times. Casey has like a 39% takedown defense, which is the second worst on the whole slate, behind Roxanne Modafferi's takedown defense. But I just see Robertson coming out here, not messing around on the ground. And if she gets down Casey, Robertson's very, very good on top. I can see some ground and pound. We've seen her get a ground and pound victory, 2 fights ago. I definitely can see that happening here. As long as she doesn't get caught from anything like Casey on her back, I think Robertson could definitely smash here. Don't mess around on the feet. Get her down right away, and she'll be fine, and she should smash. But on the flip side of things, I'll get to in a second, but I will have some Casey because Casey's much better on the feet. She's much better. If she can stop those takedowns, I do favor Casey quite a bit, but I just don't see her stuffing him, and that's why Robertson's a core play of mine. GPP plays. Shane Burgos went over it a little bit, but if he doesn't get knocked out, he's going to hit value 8,700, especially in that small cage. And I didn't mention the small cage about this fight, but I think the small cage is going to favor Emmett more. I think it's going to force Emmett to engage a little bit more, which is great for him, especially with Burgos getting hit so much. I think one of those shots is going to hurt Burgos. But if Burgos' chin holds up, Burgos is going to cruise to a decision here. He just throws so much more than Emmett. That's why he's one of my favorite GPP plays. 8,700. A finish, late finish, or a volume striking decision. I do think he hits value either way. I don't like much of the top guys this week. top guys and girls this week. Burgos at 8,700 I like quite a bit because I do think there's a lot of upside. Roosevelt Roberts 9,200. I think this play is going to be a little bit popular, and this play scares me a lot. Going against Jim Miller. Jim Miller is very dangerous. UFC veteran against the young guy in Roberts. I do think this line should be a little bit closer. Roberts is going to be, he needs to mind his P's and Q's in that first round where Miller is most dangerous. I'm really worried about Miller maybe taking him down, or Roberts taking down Miller and getting caught in something. Miller has very, very good BJJ. So does Roberts. On the feet, I just see Roberts, if he does not get finished in that first round, is outpointing Miller, maybe getting a late finish. Roberts does it very hard. I like Roberts quite a bit, but just be very wary of this play because Miller is definitely live and it's definitely a punt I'll get into in a second. But yeah, Roberts should be fine. It's just Miller is very, very dangerous and Roberts is still very untested. Matt Frivola, 8,200. This seems like this is going to be a lot more popular than Camacho. I see just about everybody on Frivola, and I can see why his takedowns. He has good output. Just he is a tough matchup with Camacho here. Camacho hits very, very hard. I think he can win a decision here if he does go for those takedowns, which I see a lot of people picking him for that reason. I'm picking Camacho personally, but I will have some Frivola. I think the better DraftKings play would be Camacho for a couple reasons. First of all, lower owned. People aren't going to play much of him because everybody's on Frivola. Camacho's the more dangerous guy. If there's going to be a finish, it's most definitely going to be Camacho. I don't really see Frivola, knocking him out. It'd be very tough to submit Camacho as well. So I do think Camacho's the more dangerous fighter, and he's lower priced as well. So for that reason, I like Camacho a little bit more. But on the flip side, you do got to play some Frivola. It's right in that mid range. I'm going to have a lot of this fight. I do think it's going to score high, especially in that small cage, and especially with both their styles. So I do like Frivola quite a bit. Just picking Camacho. Bobby Green, 9,100. This dude's lost like 5 out of his last 6 fights, which is very concerning, but he is going against Clay Guida. I like Bobby Green here at 9,100. I think I'd put Roberts ahead of him here, and I definitely put Blades ahead of him. Just something to look at here. He's going to have a lot of volume, and I think he's very, very good at BJJ. So if Guida wants to take him down, I think Green can definitely catch Guida in something. Maybe Green can even take Guida down and find a submission down there. Guida gets finished a lot. That's why I'm looking at it here. I mean, Green hasn't been doing much the last couple years, but I think he's going to be low owned. That's a reason I'm targeting him here. And I do think there is upside because he does throw a lot of volume. I do think there's finish upside because Guida can get finished, and we've seen it many times, especially lately. So Green, 9,100, definitely willing to take a shot there. Roxanne Modafferi, 8,500. I'm not necessarily picking her to win here, but she's improved a lot. And just looking at her DraftKings game log, when she wins, she scores well. She hits value every single time. She crushes value every single time. And at 8,500, if she wins, it's probably going to be due to takedowns. It's going to be due to advances. They're going to be takedowns, advances, limited strikes, but there will be a lot of advances, takedowns, and that's DraftKings gold there. So Modafferi is definitely something to look at. I just think that she's going to have a hard time taking down Lauren Murphy. And on the feet, I favor Lauren Murphy all day. That's why I'm picking Murphy. But on the flip side, you got to play some Roxanne, especially in that mid-range. Probably low-owned too as well. Live dogs. Honestly, I could put just about everybody on the slate here. Courtney Casey went over it a little bit. If she keeps us on the feet, I favor her all day. And obviously she can land something off of her back, maybe get a sweep or reversal, land up on top. And if that happens, I think Robertson's going to quit. I think it's going to be a pretty popular play here with Courtney Casey. I think this fight's going to end inside the distance. So I do like both sides of this. I just favor Robertson a little bit more. But Casey's for sure live. No question about that. Frank Camacho, 8,000. I love this play quite a bit. He's going to be cheaper than Frivola. He's going to be lower owned than Frivola. And he's more dangerous than Frivola as well. He hits very, very hard. If he can stuff those takedowns, and this is on the feet, I favor him quite a bit. Frivola's no slouch on the feet either, but I just favor Camacho on the feet there. But maybe he does get taken down, but still I think he's going to land the harder strikes on the feet. Honestly, this can go either way if it goes to decision, but I'm going to take the shot with the more dangerous fighter with Camacho. But I'm going to be pretty overweight to this fight as a whole. Marc-Andre Barriault, 7,600. A guy that keeps, screwing me over. His last couple fights. He was supposed to win last fight against Park. Had a very favorable matchup there. Ended up, looking awful in that fight. He's been looking awful in every single UFC fight, but going against Pahota here, I think he's going to win this fight. As awful as that sounds, Pahota does gas out pretty quickly. And Barrios has a very, very good gas tank. He's very powerful. He has good takedown defense. I don't see Pahota taking him down, which I think Pahota would have a very good advantage on the ground there. But I just see this staying upright the whole time. I think it's going to be a very slow fight. But getting into the small cage theory, I think the small cage is going to help Barrios throw more volume, which if he threw more volume, he'd be actually be a decent fighter. So the small cage, maybe it's going to help him engage more, which be very smart. But overall, I see him maybe losing that first round, but coming back in the second, the second or third round. Pahota does not go to decision much. I don't think he's ever lost by decision. So I think this is probably going to end inside the distance. And if it does, I think it's going to be a late finish by Barrios. On the flip side of things, don't have it listed, but Pahota's somebody I'm looking at. Probably end up playing him, put him in my player pool, because I do think this fight's going to finish, and I do think it's going to be very low owned, because people are going to look at their game logs, and they're going to see that, man, these guys are awful, which they are. They're not good. I'm not a fan of either of these guys. I'm not a fan of this fight, but it's going to be very low owned, and that's something that really intrigues me, the low ownership plays. Lauren Murphy, 7,700. I think she wins here. I think she's better on the feet by a good margin. I think she's strong enough to stop those takedowns from Roxanne, or if she does get taken down, get back up. She's been looking really good. She won against Andrea Lee the last fight, which is for sure debatable. I thought Andrea Lee won, but it was close nonetheless. I thought Andrea Lee definitely landed a lot more. Murphy was playing defense with her face quite a bit in that fight, but she got the victory against a very tough opponent there. But yeah, I like Murphy to win this fight. I do think it can score high for sure if she keeps on the feet, puts a lot of volume onto Roxanne Modafferi. At 7,700, don't see how she doesn't hit value in a win. So that's something to look at there. Austin Hubbard, 7,800. This play is going to be low owned. Everybody's going to be on max. And that's a reason I do like this play. Hubbard hasn't been doing much in the UFC. He's won, I think, one fight in his UFC. Other than that, he's lost. In that fight, he didn't score too well. But if he survives his first round with Max, I do think he's very live. And I could see him taking over. We don't know much about Max cardio. We haven't seen Max extended into those later rounds, which is why I'm going to play some Hubbard. And it is the first fight of the night, which we've seen it. I've been preaching it the past couple months now. The first fight of the night is very important. We've seen it last week. With what's his face, he got a quick finish. Aguilera, quick finish, just Ivy covered up, and I was 40% Aguilera, which was about double the field in that fight, which was awesome. So I'm going to be double the field in this fight as well, the first fight of the night, with Max and Hubbard. I'm going to play both sides. I'm going to have more Max, but I will cover myself with some Hubbard. Not saying to go all in on this fight, but the first fight of the night has been so important lately, so I'm going to be very heavy on it. All right, next we got our punt plays. Honestly, I could put a couple more down here. Just mentioned a few names. Tisha Torres is live, I think. Clay Guida, live a little bit. But Lyman Good, 7,300. He's like plus 120 now. This line is closing to a pick'em, and I can see why. I am interested in this play. He hits very, very hard. If he can stuff those takedowns of Muhammad, I think it's going to be a very long night for Bilal Muhammad there. But I just see him getting taken down at least a couple times throughout this fight, losing a close decision, but he's alive. We've seen Muhammad hurt plenty of times before, so good, definitely something I'm looking at, but I am picking Muhammad to win. I think Muhammad can get him down, but he's definitely somebody to have in your lineups because he does have so much upside. Would I be surprised if he finished Muhammad? Not at all. So for that reason, I do like him at 7,300. And Jim Miller, 7,000. This play probably going to be under-owned because there is a lot of hype on Roberts. I think Miller's very live here. I think he is. At 7,000, I'm willing to take a shot. It just worries me so much. I think this is a toughish matchup for Roosevelt Roberts here. And I think Miller's very, very dangerous. He's a very good submission game. Dangerous pretty much everywhere, especially early. And if Roberts isn't ready, Roberts could get finished here. So for that reason, I'm going to be having some Miller at 7,000. But on the flip side of things, I do like Roberts. I mean, there's lots of good plays this week, lots of good underdogs that I mentioned. There's even some more that I'm looking at. Marion Renault, Tisha Torres. I think they have shots to win, just don't see them scoring too well. So didn't really mention those. I'll go over every fight in the premium fighter by fighter breakdown and strategy video. And then also I'll go over fight by fight on my live video on Friday. So make sure you guys tune into that. But the fades, Rihanna Van Buren, 9,000. I think she wins here. I do. I think the line should be a lot closer. I don't really see her scoring well. I don't see her getting a finish. Maybe she gets a couple takedowns, land some volume. I can see her scoring maybe 85, maybe 90 would be pushing it. Don't think that's going to be enough to get on the winning lineup because I think Blades is going to absolutely smash 100 points. And I'll see a lot of other guys doing that as well. But yeah, Van Buren, I guess it's a safe play. I guess maybe something to look at in cash. I'm personally not going to do it, but 9,000 just way too expensive for me. Raquel Pennington, 8,800. Don't see her finishing Renault. That's way too expensive for me as well. Just don't see myself playing too much of her. I can see her winning like a volume-based decision, maybe getting a takedown or two, throwing some volume, maybe scoring like 75, 80 points. I'd be very surprised if either one of these girls end up on the optimal lineup. If you're doing a 150 lineup, sure, I'm going to throw 3% of each of these girls in here, just in case. But if I'm doing 20 lineups, not a chance I'm having either of these girls in my lineups. All right, guys, that is about it. Make sure you guys check me out on Patreon. I'll put the link in the bio. You get full access to my model, customizable optimizer, premium projections, GPP lineup percentages, premium breakdown and strategy video in my Draftkings article, which has been hot, called Caceres on there 2 weeks ago. Had called Nam on there as a sneaky play as well. So it's been working out pretty good. Hopefully keep the momentum going. Have been having a pretty good past couple of weeks. Hopefully keep it going this week. This card honestly is very tough. I think you're going to need to spread out your exposure to some of these underdogs because a lot of these underdogs are very live. And for that reason, it's going to be tough. It is going to be tough, but I think there's a lot of advantages and, good pivots that you can choose from. The lower ownership plays that can definitely give you an advantage here. And I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, that's about it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, if it helped you out at all, please give it a like. Also, subscribe if you haven't yet. Like I said, working my way up to 3,000 subscribers. It'd be awesome to get that very soon. Make sure you guys tune in to my live video on Friday, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. at the latest, but most likely 7 p.m. Depends on what I got going on. But come with questions. I'm going to be ready to answer any question. By then, I'll be done with watching weigh-ins, interviews, maybe some extra tape on, a couple fights I'm not sure on. So lots of good stuff on there. 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how many questions I get. Went 45 minutes last week. Can definitely get up to an hour. So that's about it, guys, and let's win some money.